An ideal client is a description. A catalyst client is a diagnosis, is a exact understanding of how your work comes in, who it's for, and why it is the absolute best match for the result that they desire. It's a specific set of conditions where your work does what nothing else can. This definition we're going to go through will change how you select clients.
Welcome to Rich Work, the podcast for established female entrepreneurs ready to turn their expertise into premium clients and consistent high-ticket revenue. I'm Rachel Pearson, global brand and business strategist, skincare obsessed, and always distracted by booking the next mini break. Here you'll learn how to position like a luxury brand, attract clients who love to invest, and build wealth that actually lasts, so you can create the business and life you want, not someone else's version of success. This is where premium positioning and building wealth meet for women who are rewriting the rules. Let's get into it.
I want to ask you something. You can close your eyes for this. Think about your best client, not the easiest client that you know you could work with your eyes shut because you've done it for years or you've done it on lots of projects, but the one that really excites you, the one where when you've had those projects together, when you've had that work together, it has just flowed. It has felt like the match of your work and them was always meant to be. And because of that, you have got incredible results. It has felt the most expansive work for you. It has felt like it has taken you into a different stage of your own work. And if you don't work with clients in the traditional sense of having a service-based business, this episode also applies to you if you are building your personal brand, which everybody is. If you're thinking about which brands do you collaborate with, speaking opportunities, PR opportunities, I want you to think about your best piece of work, the project or the partnership where everything just clicked, where it felt like what you brought to the conversations, to the opportunity really mattered, and the outcome, the results, the way that project went reflected it all. That's what we're getting into today. I've termed it ideal client, but we're not looking at ideal client in the way that you probably have before. We're not going into what's their name, their demographics, where do they live. We're going deeper. We're looking at what actually made your involvement the exact right thing at the time that you worked with them. What were the conditions that meant that your work together resulted in it feeling like an enjoyable experience, it feeling like you could bring everything that you want to showcase in your work to the table. And because of that, the results were off the charts. The way that you are building your reputation through the results that you're getting with clients is getting spoken about in rooms that you're not even in. We're going to look at ideal client, but from a place of what conditions have to be true in order for your client to truly be ideal for you. Not the client that can pay, not the client that has been the one that you've necessarily worked with before. That is going to be a download for this episode, and make sure you stay till the end because I'm going to be guiding you through how to get the most out of the questions. You have probably done the ideal client exercise time and time again, sat down with the questions. Who's your ideal client? Where do they live? What's their lifestyle like? Maybe you've even got a mood board, a vision board somewhere with her name on it. Demographics, pain points, what are their goals? It's like sometimes when I start to work with clients, I feel like they know their clients more than they actually know their family. It is crazy how much work that they have done on this ideal client. I'm for it. I really believe that you do need to understand who your buyer is. If you understand how people buy, you will always be able to sell. But it's not going to come through understanding their demographics. Knowing who your client is and knowing what has to be true for your work to actually land with them are different things. The way we're going to look at it, and this is the most scientific that you'll ever hear me get because science is not my thing. I am a words girl. But I'm going to talk to you about what I term the catalyst client. In chemistry, a catalyst is a critical threshold. It is the point where a reaction either triggers a sharp irreversible change, or it can stall. So you add too much, it stalls. You add too little, there's no reaction. This is the way I'm inviting you to think about the client that you work with or the opportunities that you are going for in your business. That client is the person who is sat at the exact tipping point where your work creates a reaction for them, a reaction that helps them to achieve the results of transformation, the change that they want to see happen. It's where what you do meets the conditions that make that shift inevitable. An ideal client is a description. A catalyst client is a diagnosis, is a exact understanding of how your work comes in, who it's for, and why it is the absolute best match for the result that they desire. It's a specific set of conditions where your work does what nothing else can. This definition we're going to go through will change how you select clients, and it may make some of you think, I don't have the right clients in my offer. It may make you think, I need to position my offer differently. I need to raise my pricing. And that is an opportunity for you to get clear on not just who is going to buy your offers, but who is the right fit to be in those offers with you. How do you identify this catalyst client? Because we're not out here doing scientific experiments, trying to create these clones of ideal catalyst clients all over the place. This is about looking for the tension in what they're experiencing. I said that a catalyst is a reaction. It is a tipping point. So if we think about this related to your client, we have to understand what is the tipping point for them. That point where they no longer are willing to tolerate the frustration they have, the place that they are currently in, or the lack of results that they are currently experiencing. This is not the surface level problem of you are not confident or you are not owning your power. Like, what does that even mean? This is deeper tension. It's that friction between where someone is and where they're trying to reach. When somebody invests in your offers, they are not investing in the solution that you've got. They're investing in that gap. They can see where they want to be. They feel it. They are activated by feeling what it's like to have a multi-six-figure business or a 7-figure brand, or to have a life where you can pick and choose what opportunities you do, or what stages you speak on, or what trade shows you're invited to, whatever that looks like. They can picture that desired success. They might not know the how to achieve it, but they can see that vision of what it looks like. And they also feel the reality of where they are right now. But if we just picture the vision of success, that can feel out of reach, or it can feel motivational. It can inspire somebody, but they don't move for it because they think, I know I'll get there, or one day that will happen, or some point in the future, that will be me. There's no incentive for them to do it right now. If we speak to the other side of the spectrum, which is this is what's not working for you right now, this is how it's not going well for you, that's not empowering people to choose. That's speaking yes to their pain, to their problems, to what they don't want to tolerate or have available to them anymore. But I don't know about you, but I want people that come and work with me who are excited, who are choosing to do the work, who are committed, who are saying, yes, I know this might not be easy, but I am fully in this. And because I've chosen to do this, I've chosen to change. So if we want to speak to that person, we have to speak to that tipping point, that catalyst point, which is the gap, the frustration, the tension that they're in, which highlights what they're currently tolerating that does not match who they are and how they see themselves. That makes it immediate for them. That means that they are feeling the impact of staying where they are without us prodding the pain point and telling them that they're wrong. So let me take this into real examples so you can see the difference between speaking to a surface level problem and speaking to a tension point. And the tension point is where you're going to speak to your catalyst client, the one that is at that tipping point of making change. If I was a leadership coach and I help founders to develop their leadership style, to grow, scale their business, their brand because of how they are leading, I cannot speak to somebody who is wanting to be a better leader. What does a better leader even mean? It will be so subjective. So I need to identify what is that tension point that is meaning that they are capped in their leadership right now. And that tension point may be that they are still holding so tightly onto control in their business that they're not allowing their team to do what they have been recruited in to do. And that is capping the growth of the business. So the tension point could be, you have built to 7 figures by being the smartest person in the room, and now that's stopped working. You're losing senior hires within 6 months, and that is putting you into a constant state of reactivity in your business. So the tension isn't, you need better leadership skills. You need to become the leader who scales a 7-figure plus business, not the leader who was able to scale a 6-figure business. It's too conceptual. They don't grasp and feel what it is to be experiencing. What's the impact of not having better leadership skills? The tension point is that the way that they have run their business, the control that they have had over their business has got them to a level of success, but now it is the thing that is breaking their team. That is a tension that is keeping them up at night. That is what's going through their head every time somebody resigns again. And they think, now I have to take on more onto my plate, which means that I don't have the bandwidth to be able to scale this business and to set the vision as the CEO. Another example. So let's take my niche. So in the business coaching area, my catalyst client is not somebody who wants to scale their business. Again, scale. What does that mean? Like scale through digital products, scale through affiliate marketing, scale through only high ticket. It will look so different. I need to ensure that the way that I work is clear by speaking to the exact tipping point that my client is at that wants to build their business in the way that I can support them. So my catalyst client's tension point is that they are running at capacity with their business. They have a lot of demand in their business, but they are charging 5 times less than they know they could be charging. And every time they raise their prices, they panic add more deliverables to justify it. And that again is putting a ceiling on how much they can do, how many clients they can hold, how they can scale their business in new innovative ways because they're constantly delivering to justify the raise in pricing. So the tension point for my client isn't, you're not charging enough. You need to raise your prices. It's that they don't trust their value without proving it by adding more through more volume, by being in their client's business more, identifying the specific tension that is going on in their business, in their daily life that I know I can support them with. Or let's go into a completely different area, into health space. If you work as a PT or you're helping women with their nutrition and to regulate their hormones, and you don't speak to a client who is someone who wants to get healthy, way too broad. It's the woman who is running a business, managing a family, is at capacity and has optimized everything else in her life, her schedule, the support she has at home, the business coaching she's investing in, the mentors that she has around her, but she has not looked at her own health. She has not looked at her body, her capacity to be able to hold all of this. So the tension isn't her lack of knowledge around health. It's not, oh, you don't know what you should be eating. She can go and find the information. She knows she can Google it. She's got everything at her fingertips to be able to eat for more protein in the morning to be able to support her sleep. She knows what she should be doing. She doesn't have a knowledge gap. The tension is that she's not trusting herself to follow through on it, that she has built everything else to run so smoothly, but she's not trusting herself to follow through on her health and have the body that supports her and prioritizes her at the middle of her life and her business and the family. So can you see the pattern as we've gone through these different areas that is the tension is never the presenting problem. It's not the, I don't know how to lead a team. It's not, I don't know how to raise my prices, or I don't have people in my audience that will pay those prices. That is the line that I hear from 90% of people that come into my work. I don't have somebody that's going to pay that much, Rachel. Do you? Or do you keep on raising your pricing, or reviewing your offers, raising the pricing, talk about it once, add in more one-to-ones and then step back from it? That's the real issue. That's the real tension. It's the friction between who they are, who they want to be, what is not working anymore. The friction is what is not working for them anymore. And we need to get so specific on that, because otherwise there's no reaction. There's no change. There's no catalyst. It becomes a someday problem. One day I will look at my health. Oh, I know I should be better at eating to sustain my blood sugar level. I know that I should be better at getting good sleep. Someday. Your catalyst client is the one that reads something, reads a post from you, hears you on a podcast, listens to your live and says, I'm not available for the current situation around me anymore. I want what she's talking about. I feel so seen and heard by this. I feel like she's gone into my journal. I feel like she may have tapped my phone. But we cannot just see people and describe what's going on for them. We also have to speak to the cost of it, the impact of it, what it's holding them back from, where they are not holding a standard for themselves that they see themselves at, where they are not in congruence with the identity of somebody who is ambitious, who is expansive, who does stretch themselves to their edges, because they continue to tolerate the same behavior, the same patterns, the same things they're doing in business, the same results, when they know that they are here for much, much more. But we have to identify and speak to that tension of what's really going on, and then present our way of being able to help them shift it. The other side of this, as well as getting so clear on who your work is for, what that tension point is, that means that they really resonate with, this is the work that I need to do, is also getting clear on who you are not for. I intentionally call this the exclusion zone, because exclusion brings up discomfort for people. You don't want to feel like you're leaving people out. It's a natural human behavior. We are designed to work together, to be collaborative, to be in groups. We are social beings. That's the reason I call this the exclusion zone, because you need to get comfortable with your own definition of exclusion. It is not about hierarchy. It's not about arrogance. It's belonging. By getting so clear on who you are for and stating with integrity who your work is not for, who your positioning is not for, that is when you will attract in more of the right clients, more of the right opportunities. They will become magnetic for you. I want you to think about who your anti-client is, or your anti-opportunity. If you are thinking about brand partnerships, collaborations, PR, your anti-client is not the obvious red flag client. It's not the person who doesn't pay on time or is really difficult. Like that's just a person you don't want to work with. I want to get way more specific than that. It's about the person who won't get the best result with you. It's not because they're difficult. It's because the conditions aren't right. Maybe they're too early in business if you're a business coach. Maybe they need a different approach to their business than the one that you work with. Maybe your work requires a foundation that they haven't built yet. When you can communicate that out, not as gatekeeping or, don't come into my work if you're not at this level yet. That's not about creating a sense of belonging. That is exclusion. What we're doing is we're positioning, making so clear who you are for, but also what you don't stand for in your business, what you don't stand for in how you operate and how you run your business or you work with your clients. And you will strengthen who you are for by being very honest about that. And the ripple effect of this is it will give your catalyst client, the one who is on the edge, the one that is on that tipping point of saying, I know that I can get incredible results with her. I know that this is the work that I need to do. By being very clear on who you're not for, it will give that client who is right for you the certainty to move, to take the action. This is especially important for premium buyers. They do not respond to generic, we are for everybody. This is for everybody who is at this level. This can be for you if you want to sell high ticket or low ticket or memberships or digital products. That doesn't create a sense of you knowing your expertise, of being exact in what they're going to get. And a premium buyer is really looking for that sense of, am I going to come in and get something specific here? Or am I going to waste my time trying to figure out what the heck is going on? There are a few questions that can really help you to identify who your catalyst client is and also who your work is not for. These are in your download, but I'm also going to talk you through them so that you can really get into how to think about these. The first is, which client gets results with you that are fine but are not remarkable? This doesn't mean that you have had bad clients. It's getting more honest about who is your work really right for? Who needs your work right now? Who will excel in your work? So if you look at clients, say in the last 6 months, in the last year that you have worked with, you can do this for opportunities as well. Put them into two camps. Which ones were fine and it's solid? It was good. Nothing went, downhill with them, but not exceptional. And then look at the ones that really felt like something sparked. It felt easy. It felt like the work that you were doing with them just ignited something. The results were at a different level. What is it that differentiates those two groups? If you can start pulling out these patterns, these traits, what a client has to have in place in order for you to get that exceptional result, you pull that out and then you start to bring it into your content, into the way that you're articulating what you do, who your work is for. Your catalyst client will start to self-qualify themselves before they even get into a DM conversation or a sales call with you. Second question, who do you find yourself over-explaining to time and again? And it's not again because these clients are difficult, but it's because the way that you think just doesn't land with them. It's not about communication. It's about fit with a client, with an opportunity. If you are having to justify why your work is important or why what you're suggesting is relevant for them, it doesn't matter how many different ways you say it. If they don't agree with that, if they don't want to do it, if they're not open to having that conversation with you, then maybe that's an issue with the fit of the client and not the way that you're communicating it. Third question, what is your exclusion zone? So this is the big one that makes people go, oh, this feels a bit uncomfortable to go into. Who are you relieved to finish working with, or what projects were you relieved to just see the back of? Not the completely nightmare clients or opportunities where circumstances went wrong or they were obviously not a great fit client from the beginning. I mean the ones where it was good, but you wanted it to end. You were getting bored with it. You were thinking, gosh, you looked at your diary and you saw that you had a call with this client. And rather than feeling really fired up about it, you think, oh, I can just get through that and then I can move on to something else. That's a warning sign, because right now you are probably paying more attention to the very obvious warning signs of who you don't want to work with and who you don't want to be your clients. But these are the subtle nuances of looking at where you've outgrown certain clients, certain opportunities in your business, but your content and the way that you're positioning and the way that you're talking about your offers has stayed exactly the same. And guess what? You're going to still call in those same opportunities, those same clients, and it creates a stagnancy in your business. So let's get really clear on your exclusion zone. And it doesn't mean that you're going to go out with content of, don't come and work with me if, but it is really strengthening in, okay, what do we need to bring out more in the way that you speak and the way that you articulate so that it's so clear who your work is for and what needs to be in place and how your clients need to show up or what opportunities are not the right fit for you. Let's get so clear on who or what your values are. Bring that to the forefront so that we can start to really position who you're not for as well. So in my business, as an example, I don't talk about making these big money months without talking about the context of how they happen. I am very clear that I'm not here to help you to make big money months whatever way possible just so that you can claim it online. I want you to have sustainable business. I want you to be able to make that money consistently over time. And to do that, you have to be prepared to come and do the work with me. I'm not going to give you a blueprint. I'm not going to give you a framework and say, this is a ready-made business, follow these steps and you will be able to make a 10K month. I don't think that that's very helpful for you. So I need to be clear about that so that clients understand that it's not going to be a plug and play scenario when you come and work with me. It's going to stretch you. It's going to feel comfortable at times. It's going to require work, but this is what I believe has to be in place in order for that sustainability and that consistency to happen in your business. So where are you playing it safe in how you are speaking to your ideal client? You're speaking to an ideal client rather than a catalyst client. You're speaking to somebody that could get results with you rather than the client who is like, let's go. I'm at this tipping point. I'm not available for this anymore. I understand what it takes to come in and work with you. And I am choosing to do this work. Catalyst client. So dive into the prompts. It is going to connect back everything that we talked about in last week's episode. If you haven't gone into that yet, I was talking about the difference between rich thinking and wealth mindset. If you are able to come in and refine your client based on this catalyst thinking, then you won't be spending time tinkering around with sales pages, changing offers, being reactive in your business. Let's firstly get clear on, are the right people even seeing it, even considering it? And then we refine based on the data of what is going on with your sales process, of what is going on in your offers. But if the right person isn't even coming into your work or approaching you for opportunities, that's the core issue that we need to look at first before we look at sales page, content, and changing your offers into something else. An invitation to take away from this episode is to stop marketing to your ideal client. Start positioning for your catalyst client, the person where your work meets the exact conditions that make their transformation inevitable. It's about exactness, getting so clear on who your work is for, and that is what premium buyers trust. There are attention mapping prompts in the download for you to get clear on who your work is for and that exclusion zone question so you can work through this in your own time. Next week is a different kind of episode. I'm going to be sharing my story, how it is that I've got here, what has shaped the way that I think about business, why I built Rich Work, and how I'm able to talk about premium business in this way. It's much more personal than what we've done so far, but will also give you insights that will change the way that you think about building sustainable business and leveraging your own wealth. Until then, I'm Rachel Pearson, and this is Rich Work.
Thanks for tuning in to Rich Work. I'd love it if you left a review. It helps other women to find us. In the meantime, follow me on Instagram at rachelpearson.co for a different take on premium positioning, one that's not about fitting a box. See you next week.